And there's a lot of
Tenants of the
sadness
Trees
and
plus R.
trauma.
Kelly.
There's a lot of trauma surrounding NRA.
Yes.
The NRA's influence and obviously gun violence.
Yeah.
Like, that's a super real issue.
Yeah.
And like the best compliment that people have given after the show was like that they came wanting to laugh about that for a change, and that they actually got to, but they still felt like it gave them like a little bit of perspective at the same time, and maybe they learned something, and maybe they like saw it in a more like empathetic way, or like just helping them to like see like the opposition as people too who have their own fears wrapped up in this.
I think it's
hit that cowbell.
No, but for real, I agree with you, and I think for me, part of why, I mean, I honestly, I feel like top to bottom, like everything about it like is awesome, and to tackle something like guns, I feel like is really cool, because like I lived in LA maybe for 3.5 years, something like that, and just whatever. I'm interested in politics. I like politics. I listen to NPR. Like, it feels so relevant. It feels so like important. The tensions here, like you can feel them. Like, it's just like politics. I feel like is being really, really felt right now in a big way, and a lot of people are trying to figure it out. And there's a lot of focus on it. And for me, the topic of guns and the whole idea of the NRA and the more guns is like, not only is that subject obviously important, but it's such a good way to kind of show angles of like liberals, conservatives, how lobbying works. Like it's like, oh my gosh.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was really important to us that we show gun owners as people. I mean, the statistics are that like not. Most gun owners aren't. I'm not gonna make up a stat because I don't have them off the top of my head. But
they did a lot of research.
So many people own guns, and a small part of them are a part of the NRA.
Yeah,
it's honestly a small part.
Yeah,
and then this is a real stat, is that 52% of those NRA member people they want background checks. They want background checks. They want some more restrictions, and the NRA is just this it's like this evil organization
because they're being paid by gun
lobbying
companies to sell more guns and ammo.
Yeah, it's something that's happening.
A lot of money.
Ooh.
I think just the gun thing, just people pick a side, but the show kind of does it hits a middle in a way that I think we've had gun owners come to the show and say that they really enjoyed it, and that
sure, because there's definitely not a clear like favoritism being played. It feels so unbiased. Like there are moments when you feel like the liberal, like you, Marnina, the character. I know you guys have played different roles and stuff. You were explaining, but the night I saw you were like the daughter.
I'm always the daughter. As long as if I'm in it, I'm the daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's only if I'm like out of town.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I've subbed in for a few different parts, but
the daughter.
But she has like this liberal boyfriend. I subbed in once on that, and they sing that liberal love song. Is that what you're?
Well, all I was gonna say is there are moments when like the liberals are so ridiculous, and you're just like, wow, like that far left is so ridiculous. And then there are moments when the right is so far right and it's so ridiculous. And then there are moments when you love the liberal, you love the conservative, like you hate and you love every character, and they're so real, and you see all their flaws and all the things that like make them lovable and real, and you just definitely end up walking away not hating anyone and kind of understanding,
except for God.
God is a character, and
God's
a character.
God's a real character. No, just kidding. If you love God, you'll
right
also
on.
love this show.
Yeah. You love
right on to all the God.
A couple of my rabbi friends have come to see it. And they're like, yeah, spot on theology.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought it was so good. I thought, okay, can I point out a specific moment that I thought was really interesting that stuck with me?
Please.
As long as it's not like a major spoiler.
Well, I'm gonna have some spoilers. Yeah, if you haven't seen the play, go see it.
Shame on you.
You won't miss us. There's so much in it that we couldn't possibly
I've
give you
seen
the
it
experience.
twice. I ruined it for myself, and it was great the second time.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, it is every week. It's every Saturday at 8:30. At 8:30. So it's
At
literally
Second
every
City
Saturday.
Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Wow.
You can Google it.
Yeah.
To get tickets. They're
Until
very cheap.
What's the
April
theater?
27th.
Second City Hollywood.
Okay.
So it is the sister branch of the Second City in Chicago.
Yeah, and I want to shout out a little bit. The administration was really cool. Like, we got there and we hadn't bought our tickets beforehand. We thought we'd get there early or whatever. But it was like totally sold out, and so they were like, "Oh, we'll put you on the wait list." And then I kind of like mentioned it to one of the guys at the door, and he like got us all tickets real quick and was just super cool about it. So it was like I was like a little nervous, and it was like, "Oh no, like we like." And then it just totally worked. So it was
That's
like,
great.
awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah, that's not a part that we interact with
No, we
ever.
didn't.
So
I
that's
mean,
great
yeah,
to hear.
but-
Yeah.
We didn't do anything to make that happen.
That's not us.
But I'm really so glad.
Yeah, so happy for you. Okay, the moment that I thought was interesting, or that just stuck with me in a funny way, was you have the character who's basically the representative. He's like the government representative who is being lobbied by the NRA guy,
Congressman Thurman.
Congressman Thurman. Thank you. And the way he gets introduced is sort of just he's the vehicle by which the NRA lobbying can affect policy and stuff. But then he starts becoming a character, and there's like that moment with the universal like gun law where he kind of agrees and does all the handshaking, and then but when it comes down to it, it's almost like the Congress pulls a fast one on the NRA and all the lobby interests and kind of like jumps the vote early. And that was so interesting to me because it starts to get at, I'm sure, the complexity of the system. It's not just like these people represent special interests. It's like they have all of these influences, but they're still a person. They still have choices, and it's not so black and white.
Yeah, I mean that's where our show really starts to veer into fiction, because if the government were actually able to jump at something like that, or like, oh, we're doing something early, like that doesn't actually happen.
But you're right. That like that's why
it's the ideal. I think
Yeah.
that we're trying to show in the
And that's why like calling your representatives can influence them because like yes they have like big money in their pockets unless they're the legit AOC, but you know,
shout out
she's
to Alexandria.
You know, a lot of them are like backed by big money, and so they have to listen to them. But if like all their represented or all their constituents thank you, you know, like voice their opinions, then like, you know, they get the vote, they get to do the voting. So maybe there's like a small window where you can actually make them go against what they're being sponsored by. But probably not too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are certain things where but at the same time, like, it's interesting because like any relationship, like even in business or whatever, it's like people don't always do what the other side wants you to do, and it's like the NRA is still going to try to influence you, even if you smudge them or you know, kind of slight them in some way. So I don't know, it just struck me as like sort of a good representation of the complexity of it, and that there's a human element, and like lobbying is super real, and political funding is very, very much a topic that I think like is having a big effect. And
yeah, I mean, I hope people keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
we hope to go out of business as a show.
Yeah.
We hope that it's no longer relevant or helpful.
Yeah.
What, they used to deal with these problems? That's so crazy.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
That
wow, this show is
could get a gun at one
so
time.
outdated.
So archaic.
Cannot use these.
Yeah.
Does not.
What is this,
hold up.
VHS?
Yeah.
We've all got laser blasters.
I hope the problem's fixed before we have laser blasters.
Okay, so I
solve the gun issue with laser blasters.
Oh, no.
That's what we need.
I have
More lasers.
more lasers. I have another line of questioning.
Oh, please.
I'm curious about the process. So let's go back to before this was an idea and you were doing something completely different.
Yeah.
To you being, night one.
Night one. Well, so this was, we actually, me and my co-writer Philip had graduated college, and we kind of dicked around for the summer. We were just like, I don't know what we want to do, but we want to like start making something. And so we literally just were like, hey, let's like come up with some ideas and meet and like talk about them. And then this was one that kind of grabbed both of us, kind of rose to the top very quickly. It was like, what if there is a lobbyist with a magical gun who, is the hero of a story?
Yeah.
About gun control.
Yeah.
And that was in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we sort of wrote it on and off. We would like meet every couple weeks for a little while. For what we would take a couple months off. But kind of the like sad thing is every time there was a mass shooting or something in the news, we would kind of just like text each other and be like, "Hey, like let's get to work."
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to like promote the show as like it's like the most serious thing ever. It's very silly, and there were definitely times when we were writing it. Yeah, when we were writing, we were like, Are we undermining ourselves by being this silly about it? But I think silliness is the answer.
Yeah.
Now and forever.
But
we have the answer.
Yeah, but literally like writing it was so hard because we didn't take different roles. We were both book writer. We were both lyric writer. We were both script writer. Okay. So we were just putting ourselves in a room together and like arguing things. Yeah. But even John and Paul wrote their songs separately.
But I guess very early Paul and John.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't mind. I was fact checking you.
Yeah. No, the thing about it is like there's probably some Beatles stuff clearly visible, but I love the Beatles like so much, and so I just love them.
Have you seen the trailer for Yesterday?
No.
Ooh.
No.
It's exciting.
It's
really?
very exciting. There's like a
it
new.
looks really
gonna be
stupid
the
for the
new-
first 5 seconds, and then I was completely won over.
Okay. I'm into it.
It's like a new Across the Universe style thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Beatles music.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like sci-fi too.
Musical?
Interesting.
like kind of like how Across the Universe was.
Yeah. It has musical
Slightly
sequences,
musical.
but
Yeah.
it's about a songwriter.
Yeah. So there's.
It's about a songwriter who like hits his head and wakes up in a world where the Beatles don't exist. So he's like playing Yesterday just with his friends, and they're like, when did you write that? That is incredible.
Wow.
And that's like when his career starts to kick off because the Beatles don't exist.
Oh,
in
and
this
but
world.
he knows all their songs.
Yeah.
He's the only one who remembers their songs.
Oh my God, this is really beautiful premise.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
super
super
into
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
Directed by
Wow.
Danny
Yeah.
Boyle. We're in.
wow.
Um,
Like ode to
anyway, it's
songwriting.
But also
We're
more
in.
guns.
Well, I
is
wanna
cool.
say, like, more about their process.
Yeah,
was,
Yeah.
they would, they were working together, and it was, in the back room. There's no back room, just like nobody else was seeing it.
Yeah.
And then there was a new musical competition,
Yeah.
and so they're like, okay, that's a deadline. Like, let's
Okay, that's
put it
cool.
together.
That's cool.
They
Yeah,
had
that
to
was our
submit
first
some
draft.
demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Turn in a draft.
Yeah.
They submitted. They didn't get it, but then they had.
Yeah.
But that was me
We got
just guessing on a
rejected.
keyboard.
Yeah.
But then they had something that they could keep working on, and they had I think you guys made some new edits to it, and then we did a reading.
Yeah, we did a reading just like in our apartment. Invited all of our friends to come see it.
How much experience did you guys have?
Yeah, if you weren't invited, then you're not my friend.
Yeah.
We're big on inclusion.
Okay. Okay. Did you have experience writing a play and knowing like was it like you like were you how sure of you that you were on the right path?
I mean, we were just I mean, we only had each other kind of before we showed it to anybody. So
Yeah.
we were just guessing. We were totally guessing. Both of us had been screenwriting minors in college.
Mm-hmm.
So we had written longish scripts, but this was like the longest thing that I put the time into, like the most amount of time into. And yeah, I mean,
so you knew it had like a beginning, middle, and end. And
yeah, exactly. The three most important parts. Yeah, I mean, we were just following the funny too. You know, if it was still making us laugh, then it was working. And
that's a great quote. Yeah, like follow the funny. Put it down.
Michael O'Connor's.
I'm curious because, like, we're musicians. It's kind of how like I think of myself, and so I'm curious from a musical standpoint. Like the lyrics really, it really hit me because I love lyrics. I love Joni Mitchell. Like I love you know, I just love lyrics, and lyrics are what I gravitate to in music and what I like. And so seeing this medium like more or less for the first time,
right,
it was like, oh my gosh, like these lyrics are so functional, and for me that's so beautiful, and the ability to break into like liberal love, like, or you know, any of the numbers really, honestly, like it felt like I loved that element of it. So I'm curious, like, how does the music come into play? Like when you're sitting there across from Philip, and you guys are like writing it. Yeah. Are you writing the music as you're going? Like, are you sitting there with guitars? Is it like just scenes first, and then you're like, we need a song?
It really depends. I mean, a lot of the songs were written in different ways.
Maybe give us an example.
Well, so Liberal Love is an example of, it was one of the last songs we wrote. Okay. It kind of felt like we had a bunch of songs that were lampooning the conservative side, the conservative stance. Yeah. A bunch of songs in a row, and I was just like, oh, like, what if there was a liberal song? Yeah. And then I literally just like sat down at the piano, and I was just like, you know, I was like, what if it's like liberal love, yeah. And then together we just like, it was like, I don't know, like sometimes it does feel like a movie scene where it is just like flowing out of us. Wow. That was one. I mean, it's a comedy musical, so a lot of the lyrics are jokes. You know. Yeah. That was one example of once we had that premise, we were like, oh, liberal love, that's hilarious.
Just list
how liberals act in a relationship.
Yeah.
We just wrote a long list. Yeah. And then we were like, okay, let's see how many of these jokes we can just plug into the song. Wow. And like really like maximize the LPM, you know, laughs per minute. That's the industry term.
Important industry term.
The LPM.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, but I can't take credit for the lyrics. They sort of just felt like it was a process of just both of us talking at each other. And yeah.
Did you do any research for the play?
Yes. Yeah, we did a lot.
Even went to the library. Those exist still.
Yo, shouts out Glendale Library. It's so bomb. You guys, they like invested too much money in this place.
Damn.
It's a spaceship that's not allowed to leave Earth. Is like exactly what Glendale is. The Glendale Library. Shouts out.
Wow, gotta visit that.
Yeah, I'm a Los Feliz library person myself.
Okay.
Well,
but
you should get around. Get to know the library.
Oh no, what have I done?
You what?
Yeah, so there was a documentary that we saw that was super influential.
What was that one?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was called NRA. Yeah, like greed something in the NRA. But it broke the gun issue into these sections that were actually just like, oh, this like really helps it when you just like break it up. So that was really influential to us.
Interesting. You kind of took a bigger form from that.
Yeah, there was this there's this crazy 60 Minutes interview with Jack Abramoff, who was a lobbyist, not for the gun industry, but he was just a normal run-of-the-mill lobbyist, special interest. Yeah, and he was doing the 60 Minutes interview after basically being caught doing all of these obscene practices, you know, like bribery and all this stuff. And he was kind of there to be like, hey, this is still happening, and this is I want this to stop because it's wrong.
Only because he got in trouble for it.
But
right?
It's almost like it's like.
But when you watch it, it's so trippy how like charming he is. You're like, oh, I see how he got away with all of this because he's just so suave. He's like flirting with the interviewer, honestly. Like they like are like laughing together, and you're like, wait, what? So we took a lot of him to build out our protagonist, the lobbyist for the NRA.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so you got a play written. You're feeling like this is cool. You invite like just friends over for the dry read.
Yeah.
And that was like last December, like over a year ago.
Okay.
December.
And then everyone's like, this is fire.
Yeah.
And so you're like,
he blushes.
Then how do you end up on stage at Second City? Like, how do you end up? How do you like? What about like marketing it? I guess. Or
So we had the show, and we were kind of at a loss with like, okay, we have this show, it's in really good shape. We want to mount it, but we couldn't find any producers. We couldn't really like find a way to do it that like would work for us. So we actually just decided, and this major shout out to Philip, who co-wrote it with me. He took on a lot of producing responsibilities to help us find a venue. And, you know, of course, everything went wrong.
And also the director, Zach Siegel, who's our roommate, too.
Yes.
He and went to college with Philip and Michael. He took on, like, a million roles that are way above and beyond the roles of a director because he just cared so deeply about it. He made the freaking puppets.
Wow.
In the show.
That was...
that
moment. I mean, that's the thing. The show had, like... It was, like... Felt like to me, like not really knowing. I'm sure if I knew theater, this would be even more apparent. But it kind of felt like this was like the perfect like. You had like appetizer, main course, like salad, main course. Like you had everything that theater is supposed to have. You guys acknowledged in some way.
Yeah, I mean, Philip and I love musical theater, and so there's like this is for the musical theater nerds out there. There's like a Fosse like number.
So what's
which is like the swing number.
Okay.
There's the puppet number is kind of like an Avenue Q, Sesame Street.
Okay.
Take. We used to have a Les Mis number. It got cut.
So when we produced it at the Zephyr.
So we put it up ourselves for 3 weekends is what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So this was before Second
in the
City.
summer.
Yeah.
Put it up yourselves, meaning like you guys had to pay to rent the venue, and you didn't know if you'd sell any tickets, and everyone was volunteering, or you were paying the actors.
We were paying the actors, but a very small amount.
Yeah. Okay. And that was just out of pocket from you guys, just like hope.
There was some fundraising that happened, and like the ticket sales covered a lot.
Okay.
You
we
sold concessions and stuff. Yeah, but
definitely a risky endeavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just very independent.
We kind of
cool.
exactly made our money back.
Yeah.
So we didn't lose.
Which is shocking.
Yeah,
which is. Are you talking like like night one you made your money back, or
no,
the whole thing has just
after the 3 weekends? Yeah.
Wow.
And so one of the members of our cast used to be super involved with Second City.
Yeah.
And
Mike
McClendon. Shouts out. And he got one of the Second City higher ups to come and see the show when it was just our show.
Yeah.
And she loved it, and she was like, we need to have this show in our venue.
But the show was like an hour 40 at the Zephyr, and Second City does hour-long shows.
Oh.
And we needed to like be able to like pop into the theater, set all of our stuff up
in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. We do a 15-minute load-in every night. And
so we had to like
we
had to cut down on the set a bunch, and then after the 3 years of writing it, we had to like go back to the script. And
so that's how the Les Mis number got killed.
Yeah.
Sweeney Les Mis mashup.
Yeah.
Do you like this version better than the Zephyr version? has it?
I do. Yeah, I do. I with very few exceptions, I think rewriting is always gonna improve upon a project, and like whittling something down to like what are just the bare essential elements. We were able to make it a lot more.
You have to put it all out there to look at it.
Yeah,
all. It has to be out there to pick from.
Yeah,
but picking.
Yeah, in the read through there was a Hamilton style number where
I forgot about that.
Where a bunch of the founding fathers rapped from heaven, but we had to lose that. That was the first thing that we
completely forgot that one.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I was just saying there's a little static I can hear. I think it might still be that mic. I'm not 100% sure.
Michael's mic.
Mike's
Mike. Yeah, I mean that is so interesting. The fact that you, because I saw obviously the Second City one, I saw the hour-long one. Like, of course, I didn't think anything close to. It feels like it's missing a Founding Fathers rap number. Where's the Les Mis part?
Yeah.
Like, it just, to me, struck me as so streamlined, so minimal, like, so just like boom, 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 like it really felt like that makes a lot of sense to me because. Like as an you guys know, like as an artist, sometimes you see something and it strikes you as so profound or so good that it almost depresses you because you walk away from it and you go like, fuck, like I'm sitting here trying to write one song. I just saw like every song, like everything, like it had the props, like it was like everything, you know what I'm saying? And every moment of it was like, had just such a value to it, and it just felt like
thanks. I mean, this happens to me every time I see something. I go, well, that's their first draft. Like they must have just like the Mona Lisa must have just been painted. You know, like it's just the first try. I was like, oh, look what I made.
Exactly.
But like this process was kind of eye-opening. It was eye-opening in the sense that it takes this. I'm not saying our show is the Mona Lisa of theater, but I guess if you had
pretty
to
damn close.
Somebody said it. I don't know.
I'm curious. So who was involved? Because one thing I particularly loved was the like the small moments where the set like really like took a role where like the gun comes down or like
Zach, our
like
director,
all of those little like because it wasn't like you guys that was like a big thing. It was just like at the right moments, like a little like super chill thing with the lighting. I loved those moments.
Yeah, even having like the heads pop up and doing the like
like all what is that called when someone like
blocking? Yeah.
Okay.
That's the director's job. Is to block the show. I'm gesturing to you because you've done more theater than I have. You could speak to this too.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
Okay. So blocking is like bringing it to life on this exact like set. Going, you stand here, you do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have someone with a fishing rod. Like, okay.
Yeah, and also because we had a super short rehearsal process, we like Zach was just phenomenal in like preparing so much in advance. Like he knows the script better than Michael and Philip even.
Wow.
Like he's just poured over it. Like he did sketch it. He like sketched things out and like he figured it all out so that like when we got into rehearsal he was like boom, 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 boom. And we're like, okay, phew, because we have no time to learn all.
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, super cool. Shouts out
to Zach. Yeah. And we have like, because we had a 4-month run and then we had another 4-month run because we got extended. That's like a long time for everybody to be in town when it's just every weekend and like you don't get paid a lot by Second City, unfortunately. It's like just according to ticket sales, and it gets split among the 10-person cast. Probably we've had 15 different people who are not in the main cast
like come in
and play roles.
Just as friends of friends.
Yeah. If you guys are available,
I would send it. I would do it. I would be trash, but I would 100% get on stage and say anything. I would.
No, but really, so it's just like kind of people you know or people who know people. You didn't put like an ad or anything out for actors.
Yeah, originally we had some auditions to cast the show, and that's how we cast a couple of the roles. But for subs and for we're just asking favors pretty much. So this is a shout out.
Shout out to understudies.
Everyone at home.
Shout out.
Phenomenal understudies who just jump right in.
So okay, my next question. I saw it and I was like, this play's gonna go far. Like, this is so good. Like, this is gonna like make it to Broadway or something, right? Like, I know, and that's the thing. I don't know anything about the theater world at all. So here's my question. Like, let's say it's really as good as I think it is. Like,
which it is.
Yeah. My taste is impeccable. You know, the idea for me, it's the idea of it just ending at April and it being like, oh, that was cool. Like, doesn't strike me as the trajectory this thing needs to take. Like, what's the next round up? Like, what's the
what's the next phase?
Yeah, like who can help you out? Like, who can bring this thing?
Or what do you want from this next?
I mean, there's it's a big conversation we're having for sure.
Yeah.
There's a potential opportunity to, you know, if Second City loves the play, you know, they have their main stage in Chicago. It could go there. There's definitely the opportunity, I think, to flesh this out into more of a 2-act musical.
Is that a little bit more of a traditional form or accessible?
Yeah. I think a lot of theaters want 2-act shows because intermissions sell concessions.
Oh,
which is like a big revenue for Broadway shows.
Yeah. I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I mean, people are thirsty.
Right.
They're buying.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
stand up during the big game.
Yeah. I mean, right now I feel like we're in a place where we just want the show to look appealing to producers and people that are, you know,
kind of just hoping someone
would you be
can
interested
come
in taking
along
it to like another medium, like film or something ridiculous, or?
I think originally I was, but I'm not sure how well it would translate. You know,
it's interesting. I don't know.
What are there like how we're kind of doing this live stream or something? Is there like a visual play, like something close, like not film, but like capturing the theater experience more for a wider audience? Is that happening in any number of your circles?
Well, we have like a recording just like for the archives or, you know, posterity.
Yeah.
Of like we at the Second City venue, we have like a one camera from the back of the audience version of that. But that's not like, I don't think that'll ever be like a public thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been like live from Broadway. I remember like they did like a live from Broadway Legally Blonde on MTV in like, I don't know, 2004, whatever it was. No, that can't be right. Maybe it's right. Yeah. Maybe it's
okay.
Yeah. And that was like very influential to me because I got to like see Legally Blonde, which is a very like fun, goofy show. And I was like, oh, that's cool that like they're making it accessible because like, what if you don't live in a city that has a lot of theater? Like, what if you're in a rural area? And like, to give people access to that is really awesome. Yeah.
You know, actually, what we've been talking about doing is because we learned a lot setting up this podcast and the whole live stream and the programs and everything. So we just basically more or less live streamed our friend Taryn's show. And we're gonna live stream our other friend's show, but I like if that's anything you'd ever be interested in, then let us know because I for me it's kind of like I feel like people just gotta know about it. So how do you make that happen? Because it's so good. It's like there's gotta be a competition or like there's gotta be a way to get it out because the idea of it just being at a local theater and just friends come is cool, but I just feel like just struck me as like, damn, this is so good. Like there's got to be some sort of ladder to climb.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably submit it to some festivals down the road, and who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what
and
sort of
I
life
mean, there's
it
a
might
chance. There's a chance it could live longer at Second City, and certainly we've already been getting audiences that are more than just our friends.
Yeah, that's
really
thank
cool
you
for sure. I didn't mean I meant just more like a local audience, you know,
Yes, because liberals don't really need to hear the message that. I don't know. Yeah, I've been really
like Deep LA. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been intrigued to like, what if we did this show in Texas? We'd probably need to have tighter security.
I don't know though, because
how it's I mean you only have a 15-minute setup or whatever, right? Like you could take this on the road fairly easily. Is the idea?
Is that a thing? Is like a tour like a common thing?
Yeah, for Broadway shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's not as common for like independent productions.
Right, because you need to pay all your actors. We actually have a pretty big cast. It's like 10 people. So
true.
And a 3-person band.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder than like just 2 people.
Yeah, you're not just
set,
like hop in the
right,
van.
yeah.
We're going to Nashville.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the next project, something that's more portable.
You can't go to open mics.
Yeah.
Okay, have you started thinking about like the next project, or no? You're just in the middle. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What's on the horizon?
Every day.
Really?
Yeah. I write a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it up.
Well, tell us about it. What are you writing?
I'm working on a pilot right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna submit it to some screenwriting competitions and stuff. Just doing that.
Nice.
Doing that thing.
Can
I'm
you
also
give us like a taste of the theme, maybe, or something like that?
Oh, it's a zombie comedy.
Yes.
also musical or
not musical? No,
Shouts out to zombies.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I am also writing for a group at UCB called Quick and Funny Musicals, and they produce a new show like every 2 months, and they have a show every month. That's just an original musical. Chris Pratt Needs an Oscar is the current
February 28th, 8:30 p.m. I might be getting these dates and times wrong.
But just show up and ask them. They'll know.
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
It's Thursday nights now. Yeah.
Okay, last Thursday in February. Yeah. The 28th of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Anyone
Yeah,
is
I'm in.
stalking me.
Yeah. Fans, we'll see you there. No
stalkers?
autographs, please.
Yeah. Well, and of course, Marnina is eventually going to have to shuffle off this shell of this show and move on to better things.
We'll see.
The ceiling.
Stay on that audition grind.
Yeah, I feel.
But the really cool thing was that doing this show led to me getting an agent and a manager for the first time.
Whoa, yeah. Shouts out. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so sometimes there is actually, you know how it's like, oh, well, you're not getting paid, but it's good exposure. Yeah. That actually worked out for me a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And I got paid a few dollars.
Nice.
Yeah, I will say to anyone watching, I still am seeking representation, and
for real,
would love an agent.
Yeah. Represent this guy.
Yeah,
he's a talented guy.
Talented. Yeah.
Should we do a little jam?
Oh, yeah, we should jam.
Yeah, I think we're kind of closing out here.
Hey, Nance.
What up, Knots?
I think I might move to the guitar chair.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh, the guitar chair.
All right, let's make sure he's. No, you can. We still want him to have a mic.
He can take this one and also.
Oh, perfect. Well, okay.
Tuna.
Great interview questions, guys.
Thanks.
I feel thoroughly interviewed in a good way.
Is this coming through?
Is it, or is it just coming through the mic?
Yeah, let's get you going on that.
If it's too difficult, I can go back to keyboard.
It should be.
We should be good.
And also, Connor, can you just get us like a drum loop going or something?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's jam.
Sure. Well, let me get him going a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so I kind of like still have. So how do you? What's your daily writing process like? What is? I'm curious. Like, you know, as even like a songwriter and stuff, it's always tough to figure out.
Yeah,
a routine or something.
I like to give myself little challenges. So
Sing
last year. Should I sing about it?
You're
last year. Ooh, yeah. Last year, I did a song a day challenge. Where I wrote a song every day for 3 months straight. But now I have all these songs I don't know what to do with.
Do those songs still feel like artistically valuable to you, or was it just for the learning process?
They definitely feel artistically, yeah.
Because I always struggle with that. I always struggle with like the next one is so important to me, you know, like this is all to get where I am to make that thing.
Yeah, doing a song a day, what that really freed me up was like just not feeling precious about just like letting a song be whatever it comes out as, and then moving on. It was like super.
So you made 365 songs.
No, it was for 3 months. So I have 90 songs.
Okay, so a 90 stack, hot stack.
Yeah, it's too many. What am I gonna do with all these songs?
Oh no, we know. We like our the privates on our SoundCloud are exactly the same way. Just like like we could put these out. Like we could package these up and send them into the world, or also just make the next one perfect.
Right. Yeah, perfectionism is tough.
About being less precious myself.
Oh yeah.
Just putting more stuff out there in the world.
Oh, so precious, pretty precious, so precious. I don't need to know why, but you're just a jewel in my eye. Why, oh why do I know you're so precious? Feeling precious. Hey, I'm feeling so precious. Super duper precious. And now I'm gonna flex it, so you can see me without all the stressing. Yeah, I'm precious. I don't need a finesse, I just need to know what's next. And I know it's you, girl. Yeah, you're next. You don't need a flex. Yeah, I got your text. And I don't know why. And I don't know why I didn't respond tonight. But it's okay. You're still precious. And if I don't see you again, it's okay, you're precious. No cap, no lie, I don't got the time. No cap, no lie, I don't got the time. Yeah, baby, yeah, you're precious. Oh,
Oh my gosh. I pulled it out. Connor, one of the keys was hot linked to my auto tune, so you were like jamming, and my auto tune was like going all over the place. So I was like,
shit.
I couldn't even think.
Oh shit.
What a bummer. All right, guys, thank you for joining us.
Really,
It's been
honestly,
so beautiful.
thank you.
Do you have any closing
Very,
statements for the
very
fans at home?
You
Just-
know,
You left it all on the court.
Yeah, just keep
Hey,
it real.
stay hydrated.
don't be too precious.
Don't be too
Yeah.
precious.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
Check out
true.
that watermelon painting.
Yeah.
Viva la vida, man.
Viva la
Frida
vida.
knows what's up.
Frida.
This has been
Alright.
another episode of Office Hour.
Office hours.
It says 1:15, but it's 1:16.